Alright, today, you guys, we're going to be reviewing Need for Speed Underground 2. It initially launched in 2004. It was published by Electronic Arts. It is a more open world style game. It has a lot of the same options and a lot of the same menu styles in a sense that the first one did, but they did add a lot in the year that it took for it to be created and published. One of the big things is Need for Speed Underground 2 is an open world racing game. And the great thing about that is it gives you that explorability that you never had in the first Need for Speed Underground. Not knocking the first Need for Speed Underground, but it was, a lot more linear and a lot more closed in. Whereas this one, you pretty much go wherever you want and do whatever you want. You don't even have to do any other races or anything. It's just a lot like Need for Speed. I want to say not Hot Pursuit. Most Wanted. It's a lot like Most Wanted, except for there's no cops and there's no, pursuit breakers or anything like that. You have a couple of options here. I'm going to go over the options like I usually like to do. You have Jump to Garage, like in Need for Speed Most Wanted. Options, of course. That'll give you your audio and display resolution. The highest it'll go is 1024 by 768. Your level of detail settings, so car shadows, neon, things like that. And then you have your default settings, which I don't really care for too much. You have your gameplay, which is just career difficulty. I like to keep it on hard. Rear view mirrors, speedometer speedometer units, miles per hour, kilometers per hour, that kind of good stuff. You can save, of course you can save, but you could have it prompt you to save or not prompt you to save, or just have it auto save. I want to go ahead and turn it to auto save. Yep. And then player, camera, stability control. If you want that on or off, I leave it off. It gives me a little bit more of a realistic feel, for the cars in the game and things like that. Lap info, split time, and that's about it for this menu. You go to the main menu, there's a lot more to it. A lot better sound quality in this one than the first one. The first one was pretty basic. It was pretty linear in its sound quality and stuff like that. This one has a lot more bass, a lot throatier. The shifts are a lot more realistic sounding. The car has a lot better physics. It feels a lot more weighty. There's unfortunately still no damage modeling on the vehicles. I don't think we got damage modeling on these vehicles until look at that smoke. The level of detail in this game is excellent. It works really, 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 really well. With modern hardware, it runs really well. I'm probably getting right around a lock 60 FPS with it maxed all the way out, but that's to be expected. It's a pretty old game, about 15 years old or so. And you got a couple of events. You have drift events, like in the first one. You have races. You have drag races, and things like that. The story consists of you pretty much losing everything because somebody got jealous and decided to take you down, and they pretty much blinded you and you totaled your car out, and now you've got to start from the bottom. Pretty traditional story, pretty basic things going on there. I'm going to go ahead and jump into a drift race here so you guys can kind of see how that works. One exception to the drift mode in this second game is that there are other AI cars on the drift track with you, so it is a little bit harder in a way, but in a sense it's actually kind of easier because you can kind of see what they're doing and kind of follow some of their moves and maybe improve things a little bit that
check
way.
This. The drift is all about style and control.
This is just a little bit of a tutorial and
Remember,
tutorial video showing you kind of
handbrake,
points and things like how to get points and things like that, kind of how to chain together combos. But if you've already played the first Need for Speed Underground, you would already know that anyway.
The more slides you hit, the higher your score.
I'm going to tell you one thing, this first car that you start out with has no power, so it makes it pretty hard to do a decent drift, but I'm going to try. Let's see. This game initially launched with pretty good fanfare. I mean, it wasn't, as big of a groundbreaking, revolutionary thing as the first one was. It was okay. I mean, it was pretty well received. It did sell a lot of copies. There is a lot more customization in this one, and there's a lot more vehicles. You have things like SUVs with, well, there was neon in the first one too, but there's more neon options in this one. There's more body kit options, more paint options, better custom paint options, more decals. It's just all around a way, way better game, honestly. This one's pretty high up there for an older game. And see, that's another thing about this one. This one's pretty strict about that timer. See, I finished only third. I usually nail the first one, but I'm not used to this one. This one has, like I said earlier, it has a little bit different handling physics and characteristics on the vehicles. So I am currently give it another shot here. Load times are actually pretty excellent, like I always recommend in my game reviews. Go ahead and get an SSD and install it on an SSD, solid state drive. That consists of a hard drive with no moving mechanical parts, so it just means it's a lot faster. It's like a flash card in your phone, so that's what this is on. So load times are excellent. A couple of seconds at the most. Music selection in this game is excellent. It's some of the best I've ever heard. Is it better than the first one? That's debatable. That's a hit or miss kind of thing. I mean, that's more preference than anything else. I mean, I like it. You got some Snoop Dogg. You've got, I think there's some 50 Cent in here and all that good stuff. And I keep only finishing third. I don't know. This one seems a lot harder to me than the other one. But I'm going to go ahead and continue and show you some other features of the game. There's the replay feature. There's the race stats, which just kind of shows you how you did in your times and things like that, and your average speed. I mean, they added a lot. For this game only coming out a year later, the amount of things they added is really, really shocking. You can just go back to Explorer mode, replay, quit to main menu, go to the main menu here, and I'll show you some of the features here in the main menu. Change parts, obviously. I mean, I don't have anything unlocked. It's just like the first one where they're pretty stingy about allowing you to unlock more advanced parts, earlier on. You have to work your way up from pretty much nothing. That's one of the downsides to the game. One of the upsides is that the save feature is a lot better implemented, because you can save pretty much whenever you want in this one. The old one, you had to go all the way back to the main menu to save, and on PC, at least for me anyway, sometimes that was a bit of an issue. Let's see. Let's go ahead and jump back into Explorer mode. Load this up here. Now, graphical fidelity in this one is, like I was saying, it's just, if I haven't, I'm saying it now. Graphical fidelity in this one is way better than the first one. Way higher world detail, way higher car detail, way higher background detail, all that good stuff. Way better particle effects. Lighting's a lot better. Sense of speed does actually feel a little bit slower, as far as I can tell so far, but I haven't really played a whole lot of this one yet. But it does feel a little bit slower and a little bit more weighty and a little bit more realistic than the first Need for Speed Underground, which is not a bad thing. I mean, the physics are, I want to say they're a bit more improved over the first Need for Speed Underground. I would honestly suggest picking both of them up. They're pretty cheap. I believe you can get them on Steam. I mean, don't correct me on that. I got my copy on some weird looking site that I got it on a long time ago. I bought this probably about 6 years ago. I don't even honestly remember what site I got it on, but it didn't cost me too much. It only cost me probably about $7 or $8. And this will pretty much, like the first one, run on any hardware. I mean, you could have an older computer, 775 socket. I mean, I wouldn't try and go as old as like a P3 or anything like that. Obviously, that's a little too low. But this one doesn't have some of the physics flaws of the first one. Your car doesn't, take flight like it did in. I mean, it can, but it doesn't take flight. It's not as, quick to take flight as it was in the first Need for Speed Underground game. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and leave off here by saying like, subscribe, ring that bell, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.